Michelle from Montgomery Therapeutic Recreation Center, and
hi, I'm Amanda Edwards from Eat South Farm, downtown Montgomery.
And today we're going to do a little gardening project. We know you're all probably pretty much cooped up and bored inside, and so this is something that you can do with things that you probably already have at your house as a way to kind of get that summer garden started. So we have today some veggies that you probably have at your house already, or could potentially get on your next grocery run. So a tomato, a bell pepper, we've got some jalapenos, and then we've got some different varieties of onions, and then sweet potatoes as well. So these are things that are pretty common here, you know, easy to get a hold of, probably already have it. And we are going to show you how to basically create heirloom plants. So what that means is that it's going to be a plant that grows from something that you already have. So this tomato is going to make more tomatoes. So we'll cut it open and we'll get the seeds, and then we'll plant those, and then they should sprout up. You can separate them out, and then at some point you will have a baby tomato plant that will eventually grow you some tomatoes. So that's the goal for today, and then we're going to show you some of the different ones and how to root those things. So,
Alright, do you want me to start off with some sweet potatoes since they're already sprouted?
While I'm cutting stuff up, Amanda can tell you about these sweet potatoes.
Alright, so we had sweet potatoes in the ground last year, and as you can see at this time of year they naturally start to sprout. So I don't know if you can see there, but this is a little tiny sweet potato and it started to sprout. So what we do is we actually take those sprouts that have come off the sweet potato and we stick them in some water. Alright? And so what that's going to do is it's going to help it develop some more roots. So we've got one with lots of roots. And then coming up here pretty soon in a couple weeks, we're going to put this down in the ground, and this is going to grow a lot of sweet potatoes. And those will be harvested in the fall. Alright? So as you can see with this sweet potato here, you've got little tiny sprouts. And can you see that? Okay. So the little tiny purple sprouts down. Okay. This is going to be the top. So what you can do, if you don't want to put them in dirt, you can actually set this down in the dish right here, and the roots are going to come off that and the sprouts are going to come off the top, just the same way they would in the dirt. And then you can, again, you can tease out these sprouts, separate them out, and let their roots develop a little bit more in the water. So. And then very soon you can plant those. So if you took the potato, sweet potato that's a little bit sprouting right now in your countertop or your wherever your pantry, and you put that in water, and after those shoots come up, then root them, you can plant them as soon as they've got some good roots on them.
That's very cool. Okay, so I have some tomato slices, and this is just basically a big beef steak tomato. And I sliced it just like you would for, you know, putting like mayo and salt and pepper or BLT, you know, all that goodness. So what you can do is when you're ready to make those kind of things, or your hamburgers, you can gently remove the seeds, and you can use a spoon or your fingers. If you are using a knife, be very careful. If you are younger, get some adult help with this part. Youngsters, don't be using sharp knives. I don't want to have any sliced fingers. So I am just basically cutting out these little seed parts so that we can get at this good stuff right here. So what I have here is this nice kind of jelly, slimy, seedy part. And so in here are all my little seeds. The little yellow dots are the seeds, and we can plant these straight in. So we're just going to take some dirt.
Fill these up a little bit more.
Okay. Tell me which one's ready.
It's just the seed.
Okay. So we're going to start these off with just some seeds. I can put just a few in, or I can put more in. It's just up to you. And if you are not planning on eating the entire slice of tomato, you can actually plant this entire slice solid just like it is. You can also do this with cherry tomatoes or Roma tomatoes, pretty much any kind of tomato that you have. You know, if you're like, man, that's a really good looking tomato, I wish I had more of those, well, you can grow your own. And it's fun for kids to watch their tomatoes grow, so you can actually plant like the whole slice down in there, just like that. Put some dirt over the top and get some tomatoes from it. Now I will show you the green pepper. And so what I'm doing here is I'm basically just kind of slicing it to where I get at this middle portion. Because this is where my seeds are, and this is what I'm after. This is the part that you would normally take out and throw away, potentially put into compost or something like that, but we're going to try to harvest these seeds and grow some bell peppers from it. So we're just basically going to scrape these seeds down. There, just like that. Because that will help to give the seeds some extra nutrients. And so we can plant that whole piece in there too. And then this part will go for our compost. And then I also have some jalapenos.
I shouldn't have covered them up because now I'm going to forget. Those are all planted.
Okay. Amanda's here to keep me straight. So, with our delicious jalapenos, we all know that the heat comes from the seeds. So, you're probably cutting this part out anyways. And so we can just take this and slice those up, stick them right down in there, cover them up, and hopefully grow some jalapeno bushes. So, that's going to help these vegetables grow. You'll be able to make more from those. Is that ready for something going in it?
Sure. Gather these up.
Yep.
Lots of little seeds. And the seeds are so amazing, and they'll grow into a full plant, each of them. And what we'll do is we'll separate these out once they've sprouted up into their own little pots and let them get some good roots on them, and then put them out in the garden.
A few more seeds if you want them. So, alright, so now, once you're done with this part, you're going to wash your hands. So you get all the dirt and stuff like that off. Now, one other thing that we can do is I'm going to set this aside because we're pretty much done with these things. I'm going to put the cover back on my knife, being safe. So after you've washed up, what you can do, there are several plants that you can basically buy one time and get them to continue to produce for you. Green onions are one of those plants. These are from my own kitchen. I've had these green onions for 3 or 4 weeks now. And when I want some green onion for a recipe, I will take my kitchen shears and just cut this off. And then I can chop all of this good stuff up and enjoy it. And then the plant, as you can see right here, is making a new sprout. And you can see somewhere I've cut them already, and they're making new sprouts to grow. If you keep them in a cup, hopefully you can see right behind there. There's some roots in there. I have just a little bit of water in there. It's about this much water. And as you can see, it will grow you roots. And so you know that these are producing. So I could actually probably separate these guys out and put them into different things, but they're happy together. So I just leave them in their little cup, and then every day or two, when the water level gets low, I just put a little bit more water in, and they'll keep producing for me. I have them sitting in in a windowsill where they still get a little bit of sunlight, but they also were quite happy on the kitchen counter with no sunlight too. So that's another option. And then the last thing that you can test out and try, and we're gonna see what happens with these, is I was reading that when you are cutting up your onions for, you know, whatever you're making, that you can actually grow another onion plant from the root end of an onion. So this is a yellow onion, and I cut it last night, and you can see, hopefully you can see that in there, there are these little circles inside, these little tiny circles. That's where the new plants are going to come from. So this one potentially will grow 3 more onion plants, because that's how many are in there. So all I did was I took my onion and I just sliced off the end with the roots. And I'm going to keep these in this plastic bag with a little bit of water and just keep them damp until they start to sprout, in which case then I can put them, once they have they'll grow some fresh roots, and you'll see some green sprouts start to come up, and then you can put them into dirt and grow your onion plants, or grow onions. And so onions grow under the dirt, so you'll have to give them some time, and you can check them, and when they get big enough, separate them out and have more onions. So that's some gardening that you can do from home. So you've got your sweet potatoes and your onions, and we'll have tomatoes and hopefully bell peppers and jalapenos. So looks like we'll probably be making some salsa at some point. But we'll just give these a quick water, and